Welcome to Greenpete's Pods. This is the first, and it happens to be the 1st of April, so no, it's not too much of a joke, because we need to look at some basic facts of things that are happening around us. Science is coming up with some extraordinary things that we really should be much more aware of. Let's look at one or two basic things. Land and temperatures. 2020 was the hottest year of all time. Self-sufficiency and sustainability are therefore far more important than ever before, and we can all contribute to that sort of scenario. And it's important that everybody starts seriously thinking about environmental issues. But it's not too late. Generally speaking, most of the scientists agree now, and when I say most of the international scientists, we're talking about 2,000 of them nearly on the international panel. They agree that serious action must be taken on climate change within this decade. Now already it's 2022, which means that we've got 8 years to take the whole subject seriously. The UK Climate Chief, Alex Sharma, has made one or two important statements. We're running out of time to stop climate change disaster. That is a statement which should be taken very seriously by everyone around the world. I know, of course, that there are a lot of other things happening in the world at the moment. The dreadful happenings in Ukraine are an example. The pandemic's been going on and it's diverted us dramatically from climate change. But climate change is still the number one by far, because it is going to affect our children, their children, and several other generations. At the moment, we are basically stealing that future by our own greed. Take a quick look at some of the basic things. Plastics is a classic example. In the UK, we got into the habit over several years, even a couple of decades probably, of every time we go shopping, we get a plastic bag. It was a disaster because they take hundreds of years to completely rot away, and even then they produce minuscule little pieces which can become part of a fish's intestines and then go into their flesh. We then eat those little tiny bits of microplastics. Can't be doing us any good. So something as basic as that had to be acted upon straight away. A bit of legislation which was enacted within a week in Parliament changed dramatically the number of plastic bags used. 85% reduction within a week of that legislation coming out. So it shows that everybody can do something. That made an enormous difference to the amount of plastics ending up polluting the seas. Going back to climate change though, faster sea level rise are beginning to make themselves felt. There are what used to be tropical islands, low-lying ones admittedly, in the Indian Ocean particularly, which have now disappeared. And others, again low-lying, are so salt infested because of the fact that the sandy beaches and so on allow the salt to percolate right into the fertile lands in the centre. They're so salinated by that now that they're not producing any food. That is a major issue. The same applies in some of the very big river deltas. Areas of Bangladesh, for instance, where they have problems with flooding because of the enormous amounts of water coming down the Ganges and the Brahmaputra rivers. And there are 20 million people who live within the deltas of those major rivers. They are all within about a metre of sea level. And virtually all of them now have reached the stage where they are being salinated and therefore less productive agriculturally than they used to be.